guys, welcome to your Moon in Taurus reading. It is such a pleasure to read for you, as you guys know. If you'd like to work with me more personally, you know exactly where to find me. You can find me on my Etsy page, and as always, it's a pleasure. So we'll be taking a look at the collective energies as the moon enters the sign of Taurus. So the moon will be transiting the sign of Taurus on February 24th and will move out of the sign of Taurus and into the sign of Gemini on February 26th. So let's jump in, see what's going on in our collective, because if you're watching this, then it means that you're part of this collective. So the first thing I'm seeing for you guys here, generally speaking, is that here you are setting your course, and Spirit is reminding you more than ever right now that remember to keep your mood pretty. And I know that that's kind of like, what? It doesn't mean you shouldn't have emotional ups and downs and things like that and fluctuations, because to do so is utterly human, and that's what we are. We are human beings here for the time being. But Spirit and our guides are encouraging us to exercise greater control over our emotions, 1 minute and 11 seconds, over our moods as much as we can, because as you know by now, if you watch this channel, they pretty much beat the drum of the idea that the only real moment in all of existence is the now moment, and the now moment, and the now moment, and the now moment, and the now moment. And it's just what we consider to be quote unquote reality from our physical perspective, which is filtered through our neurobiology, right? Our need to survive on this planet. Things have to have a beginning and ending, right? So we are pretty much programmed in this body and conditioned over time on this planet to believe in the idea of beginnings and endings, but also to see our life as one long continuum with a beginning and an ending, right? However, Spirit says this is not really what things are like on the other side, in the sense, a great analogy is, remember, like a movie. When we're watching the movie in the theater, we're just seeing one long story. But the reality of it is, when you look into the technology, it's not one long story, 2 minutes, 22 seconds. It's frame after frame after frame after frame after frame after frame, going at such a fast rate that it appears to our eyes, because of the way our bodies are developed, right, or are made, or the way that they're grown. I don't know why the word is escaping me right now. The way that our body is structured is that it will see a long continuum, just as if you took a little flip book and and the animation just moves, even though you're just flipping page at a fast speed. So long story short, in the same way, the only moment that really exists in all of eternity and all of creation is the now moment. So that means that there's no past and there's no future, and we only have a perception that there's a past and a future for some of the reasons that I mentioned before, right? But because we are in this physical suit, we are limited in our perception. And so a very common issue that people face as human beings, until they become conscious of it and consciously work to transcend it, is that they change their state of being based on their emotions. Something happens, and now you are mad, and now you're happy, and now you're sad, and now you're this. But you don't realize that when you look around your environment, so your bank account, how you look in the mirror, you see your boss coming down the hallway, these things, they fluctuate your mood, but and your emotions. But all that's happening is that the universe, which is creating the reality for you, your physical reality, all of your physical reality, based on the signals you send out, right? All it's seeing is, fear, anger, sadness, happiness, fear, anger, sadness, happiness, shame. It's just getting those signals, and it's creating the form that will reflect back to you those signals that you're sending. The thing is, you're sending those signals not only from your physical conscious mind, right, but also from your subconscious. So we know this. If you say, I would love a husband, you may be doing as much as you can, 4 minutes, 44 seconds in your daily life to create that opportunity for yourself. But if you're vibing very, very emotionally and very deeply from your wounds, and you're communicating to the universe something as simple as men are scary, guess what? The universe is responding to that, and you're going to have like an issue. You're like, why do I always attract this kind of person? Well, it's not that you're doing it on purpose. All it is that you need to become aware of what the signals are that you're giving out, because you're giving out more than one signal at a time. That's why inner work is very important. But anyway, so the great mix-up that happens is you look in your bank account, for example, you get upset about it, your energy changes, your energy starts moving in emotion, and you start sending out the signal of lack. So the universe gets the signal, not knowing or caring what the hell a bank account is, and just gives you more of what it is that you are conveying to it in the only language that it speaks. Okay? And so that's very important, because you're looking at past manifestations, i.e. your physical reality. If you can see it, it's already happened somewhere in the non-physical, and that now moment is over, because the only moment that's real is the now moment, and the now moment does not exist in the physical, and it only exists in the non-physical. So if you see something in your physical past moment, then you start vibing a certain way, and then you start to send a signal out, and it taints every now moment that you're feeling this emotion. And so that's where the wires get crossed. I don't know if I did a really good job of explaining that, but God bless, we out here, right? Anyway, so that's why I'm seeing this beautiful setup here. We see you super cute here, setting your course, feeling all extra happy. You're monitoring your mood. You're feeling good about yourself. You're projecting positivity and higher timeline energy into your future, which doesn't exist, right? But what you do in your now non-physical moment comes to pass in your physical moment, which is your future from this perspective. So the higher you vibe in the present moment, the better your future, quote unquote, is going to be. But you see over here, as you're looking out, right, you're doing your thing, you vibing in that high way creates momentum. It creates, especially if you keep doing it uninterrupted, you don't allow other people to sway you, this and that, right? You're creating this amazing momentum. And guess what? Out there, you have multiple timelines available for you. You see how this timeline, this bird always looks so mad. So I don't know what you guys see, but every time I see it, he looks so frustrated. And so it's almost like this is showing me a lower timeline. And see all this light? And this butterfly coming in to say, okay, we're scrapping that timeline because we're actually going to put you into a higher timeline because of how you're vibing now. So what this is showing me is Spirit is reminding us that we're always making decisions at any given moment. Now, that's not designed to make things seem daunting at all. It's designed to bring you closer to the reality that is. And we're not kids anymore, so we can start learning about more and more. We're all, me, myself included, we're all moving towards greater and greater truth. There are going to be certain limitations because of the form that we're in at this time, but there is a wide range of abilities that exist within human possibility. And so wherever you are, there's room for growth. Okay, let's put it that way. And so the guides are saying, always do your best so that you can make as best a decision in your non-physical moment as possible. So when you vibe as high as possible, when you, of course, live as closely and as possibly as you can from the virtues, and we're all practicing that because, what does it mean to be kind? It's, it's checks and balances. It's you got to learn to find a right temperature for what kindness is, so you're not shortchanging yourself or shortchanging others. That's your homework, right? But the point is, as you work on that, you're ensuring yourself a much better future, And also, if you work on your vices, okay, be mindful of that. So all of these things, I'm zooming out now from this energy. All of these things the guides are saying is, well, it's practice. Now you know. If, I've heard this saying once, and I was like, ugh. I bet the karmic board loves that saying. And the idea is, there is a state of unawareness, but once in your life it's brought to your attention, regardless of whether you cling to it, you adopt it, you whatever. It's written down. It is written in the annals of time that now it becomes a choice moving forward. Because the guides will be like, hey, we told you. Because remember, by the time you experience something in your conscious life, in your physical life, whether or not you choose to focus on it or not, they have been told us that at the different levels of our field, during your sleep, during your other levels, your 4th level, 5th level. So these guides are all up in our ear. And I remember I used to listen to Hay House like a lot back in the day. I'm sure some of you guys did as well. Hay House radio back in the day, right? When Louise Hay, was still alive. And anyway, and I remember I was listening to one morning show on the way to work, and I can't remember who it was, but oh, hold on one second, guys. Oops, sorry, hold on. Oops, so sorry, guys. I'm back. Yeah, so I think the story was this guy who had been involved in a motorcycle crash. He had an NDE, near-death experience. He was just sharing his experience. I may be botching the story a bit, but it's okay. And he was recounting, I think, on the regression, that he remembered the moment. Oh, I think it was a woman. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And it might have been a car and a seatbelt thing, whatever. And she remembered, yes, okay, I'll tell that story, thank you. There was a woman who was recounting a car accident that she had, and she was recounting it during regression therapy, and had a past life, recall and everything, subconscious recall, that a few seconds before she had the accident, she never drives without her seatbelt on and stuff, but she took her seatbelt off in what we would say is a fluke accident, right? A fluke incident, and ended up getting in a crash, and of course she was hurt and whatnot. And I may be mixing, and anyway, the point of that story, let me just say that, is that she realized in her NDE that was meant to be. So sometimes that happens. But anyway, I think the other story was a motorcycle story. Sorry, guys, Mercury and Pisces. Look, this is what they gave me. I'm rolling with it this lifetime. We're working on it. Go look up Mercury and Pisces, okay? Anyway, the motorcycle story is that this guy had an accident, and of course, how did he not die in this accident? But he got very hurt, by the way, God bless. He's okay now. And he was telling the story about how during regression therapy, he remembered that the guides either just before impact or at some point, because they're quick about it, he heard them whisper in his ear, "That's number 3." And he, of course, we would never remember this, but he remembered that what they were saying is that this was your scheduled exit point number 3. You got in the accident, but you did not take the exit point, obviously, because you're alive to tell this story now, right? So long story short, the reason why I inadvertently brought up 2 of those stories is because I mixed them up, but also got the main parts right. But the reasons that I brought those stories up is to let you know, by the time you have any conscious recall of anything here, you have been told many times on different levels of your field. So that's why the karmic board is not as open, I guess, as we are to seeing things as choices as we are. And of course, by the same token, some things are not choices. We perceive of them to be choices, but they're not. But so many times, things are actually choices, but we don't see it that way, and that's because of the perceptions that we hold. So and we paint ourselves into corners with certain perceptions because of our mood. If you're not managing your mood, you're pretty much intoxicating yourself with hanging around certain people, consuming certain media, not clearing your field after, not having good spiritual hygiene, walking the earth like it doesn't matter, like your physical body's the only thing, when the physical body is only the last body, and it's one of many, right? And on top of that, it's a carbon copy. It's totally a carbon copy of everything else that's going on in your field. So when you kind of move through the world like that, you're kind of just letting yourself go in a sense. And so you want to make sure that you are managing yourself and your energy field, your auric field, so that you can be in a better frame of mind, better mood. And when you're in those vibrations, those higher vibrations, you are actively attracting and activating higher timelines, higher experiences. Okay? So much. And the guides taught me a little lesson about that some years ago. I won't go into the story about it, but they said, but I had a choice. And then I made the choice not to do something that would have brought me karma. It wasn't like, I don't want karma. I just somehow fell into not making that choice. And then I was trying to catch a plane out of New York to come back to California. And guys, my gate was closing in 30 minutes. And I arrived there at the airport, and I don't know, there's a long snaking line at the registration place to check in at the counter. And the guides were like, just ask somebody what you can do. And usually I'm really shy. I'm actually an introvert, so I don't really like to ask for things like that. But listen, I'm not about to sit here and, lose my, flight. So I was like, excuse me, hey, can someone help me? And she moved me right up she was like, come on, you're next. And I got on my flight. I totally would have missed it. And then I'd have been crying in a bathroom somewhere. Just kidding. But anyway, and my guide said, you know what? Had you made that choice earlier, which would have been in the shadow, it would have brought you negative karma, and you would have missed your flight today. First of all, I want to let you know, guys, I am not late to flights. I'm that person who will get there 3 hours early if I need to be, and just kick it, because I'm fine wherever I am. But I was late that day. And so my point is that the universe, the timelines, they're all energetically determined by whom? By you and your actions and your thoughts and your feelings and this and that. And the higher you go into, and forgive all the ahs, but the higher you go into taking responsibility and into understanding who you are and what you're doing here and this and that. And again, there's always room for growth. I don't care who you are on here, how many followers you have, what company you have, what this, that, blah, blah, blah. You're learning just like the rest of us, right? And the more that you learn, if you're learning in the right direction, you realize more and more and more, it's you. It's just you. Okay? And sometimes people have a hard time accepting that because they're still in their pain. And no one's asking us while we're immersed in our pain and having the victim energy around us, because that is a necessary step for processing pain, right? Some people just get stuck there for also understandable reasons, but regardless of the reason, you're still there. And it's a necessary state, yes, but it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be long, but it is our homework to kind of try to move through these energies. Anyway, I don't know why they have me go as long on these these topics, especially at this time of night with my Mercury placement. But I'm just going to go ahead and trust that it's what it is. Yeah, just I said that I saw this is my 3 of Pentacles card, and it always shows me collaboration. So yeah, oh yeah, why? Because look, a lot of us are in prison, but the prison is of our own making. It will always be of our own making. It's the same thing, like people always say, why would God let this happen? God's like, hold on, excuse me. I can't make that sound, but somewhere in the distance, a dog's barking. Like, well, what are you talking about? God didn't do that. He wasn't even involved, or she or it or they or whatever, wasn't even involved in you making your soul contract like this. That was all you. And I'll tell you, I have a friend of mine who's also does this kind of work, and we used to read for each other all the time, get you a friend who, right? And she would always be like, why are my guides this? They're driving me there. And then I look right in her field. I'm like, oh, I got to keep it 100. That's not your spirit guides. That's you. That's your self. That's you. You are a go-getter, and this is the part of you that's pushing you, and you don't realize it. So again, we have to find new ways to process ourselves and stuff so that we can step more and more into sovereignty, taking responsibility, stepping out of low consciousness, stepping out of poverty consciousness, stepping out of low self-esteem, stepping out of victim consciousness, stepping out of martyrdom. All of that stuff will keep you back, and it'll keep you blaming other people. right? I love how we had that whole story, and then my camera, like, I had to restart it and everything, only to now say the Buddha prepares. It's like, well, we just did a lot, weren't we? We should be ready by now. All of that goes into preparing for something higher. Now, I do want to point out that earlier the guides were showing me in one of the cards, I think it was the treasure card, a treasure box hidden way in the back, and it was gleaming. It was like zing, but it was behind the person in the card. Oh, yeah, good idea. Let me see if I can get it. It was behind the person in the card. And you know what? The issue was this person wasn't aware of what's missing. Hold on. Of course, it's in here somewhere deep. Oh, there it is. Boop. Ding. The treasure. He's like, this room has been tossed and torn. You can't see it, but it's right there. Boink. It's like an open treasure chest. It's like coming out, but he can't see it because he I don't know what this man's doing. He's looking in other treasure chests. So yeah, he's kind of on to the scent, but it just goes back to show you can do a lot of, a lot of times you can do things to delve deeper and deeper, but at the end of the day, the treasure chest, 10 minutes, 10 seconds on this new recording is going to be about you kind of looking into your basement. What do you mean basement? There's nothing down there. I don't even own a basement. Yeah, you do. It's called your shadows. I was actually working on a client, no names, God bless, one time, and it was interesting because energetically the image that was being shown was that we weren't hitting the basement to get to these shadows. We actually went to the attic. I was like, what? You're just having overflow right here, right? So, but the energetic dynamic there was, this was a person who really wanted to hide their stuff even more so. It's like they'll never look in the attic. If they're looking for my shadows, they're going to go to the basement. So the point is that they're saying when we want to prepare, and I'm seeing some of you, this obviously doesn't necessarily mean you in the physical, but definitely on some non-physical level, some of you are preparing. I want to say take the tonsure, right? But obviously not everyone's going to be taking the tonsure, but you may be preparing your vessel, energetic or physical, for some type of next leveling up, but you must go through they're saying sacred rites. Yes, love it. Some type of sacred rites, but they're saying that you must purify the body first. Now it's interesting because as I said, purify the body, I felt immediately some of you perk up there because you've probably been getting some type of sign to detox, to purify. Some of you may have been having the diagnosis of your father, epigenetically, that kind of thing, the diagnosis of your father on your father's side, his health to kind of consider your own, right? So there are things that Spirit has been bringing to a lot of your attentions recently. So make sure you're paying attention, because generally speaking, what's happening is you're purifying the vessel. You've got to take care of some purifications. Now, it's interesting because we live in this world where we're in this body, super cute, but we are multi-dimensional beings. One of the biggest mistakes people make is to think that they are just the body. And so they live by the body, and a lot of us even ignore the body, right? And then there's some who live by the spirit a lot, but they ignore the body, right? But the point is, when you're living in a more balanced way, you're taking into consideration what's going on as many levels of the non-physical as you can perceive, as well as what's going on in the physical body that you can perceive. Because sometimes you may be having an ache in a certain part of your body, and you're so disconnected from your body that you're not even perceiving, hey, something's going on here. So a lot of people are very dissociated, and that makes sense because we do live in a society that is very, very, very bombarding and desensitizing and traumatizing, to be quite honest. And so when you are really trying to move forward, consciousness is the key. That's what it means to be aware. It means to be aware that you have the ability to observe. And I'm not just talking about observing things on Instagram and YouTube and the news, dear God, and at your school because you're busy all up in other people's business, but to be able to observe what's going on in your field, what's going on with your body, what's going on in the air. If you get as quiet as you can and you really start to move in silence as much as you can, you'll feel disturbances in the field. And soon you'll start to become so good that you'll start to consider whether it's your own or someone else, right? Now they're saying to me about silence. Remember, when people go into initiation, this is kind of what it's feeling. Some of you, I feel like in the collective, are going to be going through some type of initiation soon. I'm hearing within 7 weeks. For some of you, it's 7 weeks. I thought I heard 7 months, but 7 weeks. And obviously, if that's you might already kind of have an idea. It doesn't mean you have to. Some of you, though, they're saying we're told on another level of your field, and it counts as you knowing. No one said it had to be conscious, right? But your spirit knows you were told up to 3 months ago that you would be going through this process. So let's do a quick math. What's 3 months ago? You guys hit that up, do it, all right? But either way, you are 3 months before from when you're watching this, that is. But either way, you are being prepared. And remember, way back in the day, when people used to go through these initiations and all of that, and they went through sacred rites, one of the things that they would do is, of course, detox, right? We talked about that so that they can purify the field, the vessel, whether that included cutting your hair, whether it included taking ritual baths. It also included fasting, which is a kind of detox. Somebody just wrote that down. I felt somebody was like, oh, yep, that's probably what I got to do at some point, right? They're saying with silence, that was another one. Because when we speak, that's energy in motion. When we think, it's energy in motion, right? When we feel, it's energy in motion. And so we have to be mindful of the quality of those emanations. That's why we have the saying, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. That basically means if you're creating output, energetic output that's quote unquote evil, and that's for you to define. Remember how they defined it back in the day will be through a certain lens. How you define it today is through another lens. Hopefully we'll find the right one, right? But your output, right? And also considering your input. This is what it means to purify. So when you go into silence, you are cutting out distractions. Why? So that you can get still. When you get still, you're able to hear. And when I say hear, you're able to go beyond your physical ears and step right into your non-physical ears, which align with which chakra? Quick, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, ding. Your throat chakra, ENT, ear, nose, throat, right? So your throat chakra, yes, we do have ear chakras, but when we're talking about telepathy and things like that, that's your clairaudient, thanks. That's your throat chakra. So if you were to quote unquote go into silence, if I were to do that, I would probably take I would definitely cut out social media. Except to come and do this work, of course, God bless, right? Unless the guys were like, no, then I'd have to ghost ya for a little bit, right? But I would cut out social media. I would definitely cut out whoever my friends are or whoever friends, family, coworkers that carry harsh energies. We don't realize it, but a lot of the people around us are harsh energies. Sometimes we have the harsh energies, right? If you have people going through things and that are very, pain, understandably, because they're going through lessons just like we are. But when they're in their pain body, and that's what's in the driver's seat, and they've got opinions to share, and they're angry at this person, or there's a story that they're telling that you always associate them with. Oh, this is Janice. I don't know who Janice is, so if that's your name, I really don't know you. God bless. I don't know any Janices, but it's like, oh, this is Janice. I know she's going through this divorce, and she's just like, talking about Steve all the time, and these are energies, and really it's pain. And so when you are trying to get yourself your mind, spirit, body into alignment and unification, the guides are saying, you have to go on a little detox. And that is no longer meaning to just stop eating chocolate. How dare we, right? So again, I'm feeling that some of you are definitely going to be going through initiation. And it's funny because I always tell you, my guides are so good. They mark it for me. I just feel like my hand moving here. I want to like do this. I just feel like this is not everybody, but somebody here may choose to connect with me for their grounding and anchoring their energies and whatnot. But remember, you are empowered, you're sovereign beings, and you can be in the middle of a desert and have these upgrades. So, you know, it becomes easier when you remember that when these energies come into your field, they're high vibrational energies. And so they're going to kick up what's going on. So Spirit is saying the more that you anchor down, this is very important. See, this is what they're saying. The more that you anchor down and prepare and detox and ground and all of that, the less moved, notice that, you are by these shadows and these serpents and these whatevers that come up. Because we always talk about the tricksters and this and that and blah blah blah, but what greater trickster than our own energies masquerading as others? Okay, the more you start to delve in and understand how things work for yourself, and generally speaking on the psychological level and the emotional level, on the mental level, on the energetic levels, the more you arrive at this place like, oh, okay, my bad, it's me. But it's okay, I don't need to know that now. I guess I could bite off a little bit. Look at this, the willow. It's almost like he's, you know, this isn't a willow tree, obviously that's going to be the Bodhi tree, but the point is, you see, there's a tree. That's how you create a tree for yourself, right? You're creating the wisdom. You're moving into greater wisdom. Wow, this card actually wants to get on top here. Yeah, this is showing you might... I'm seeing that a lot of you will need... I just heard the word vector for whatever reason. That's going to hit many of you differently and whatever it means. But I'm feeling that many of you may need a facilitator for this. But I am seeing that for some of you, a facilitator may be nature, is what I'm seeing, getting out into nature. But again, it could be a person like me, it could be, or some other person that your spirit team or your higher self has designated. Some of you may be journaling or whatever and have this amazing past life recall, they're saying, and it'll all come 21 minutes, 21 seconds, hurtling back. Right? And they're saying the job of a facilitator, and this is not only a little bit about what I do that you're pointing out, but also to tell you guys when you're choosing a facilitator, because I do feel that some of you do work with facilitators, whether they're shamans or whatever. The job of a facilitator is to assist you in bolstering yourself so that energy can come through. So I'm just going to give you a quick tip. When these energies hit, because you could be in the middle of your nap and you'll just be like, right? Or it just dawns on you or just whatever. Remember that not only may you experience a lot of recall, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of trauma, a lot of fear, a lot of whatever. Just let these energies come up and out. Don't hold on to anything because they're literally on their way out. But when you start looking at it too closely and you hold on, that's when you start getting stuck. You're starting to hold on to these, but let it go. Also, a lot of you may process things 22 minutes, 22 seconds through your body. So you may start to notice, you may not have the hallucinatory things, but you may start to notice that you feel like your body aches. Like I had a friend who, when she had her downloads, it was always about her body. She would break out in rashes. She would like, her arms would be hurting and all sorts of stuff. Whereas me, I get it emotionally. And what else? Of course, you guys know the signs like tinnitus. Some people get vertigo. I used to get vertigo, and it would just like all of a sudden, boom, I'd wake up in the morning and shoot up, and then be like, and one night I actually threw up. TMI? Not TMI. We're sharing the burden. Brought to you by this story, right? But then I was like, wisen up, Jay. You know what this is. You know what this is. You don't make a story about this. You don't run here. You don't run there. You just remember that you know this is just your downloads, your higher self stuff, your light codes coming into your field, and it's waking you up in the middle of the night. And the way that it's coming in is at such a trajectory that it is causing you to experience vertigo. Now, if I don't like it, which I didn't, God bless, what am I going to do about it? First of all, knowing and reminding myself what it was helped me relax. And then I was like, guys, talking to my guides, hey guys, it's your girl Jay. Can you please help me out? Listen, I know that these energies are coming in, but hook a sister up. Can you please wake me up before they come in? And guess what? They started doing that. And I kid you not, from then on, now I would wake up. I'd be like, huh? And then I would feel the energies coming in, and boom, that's it. I can just sit up or I can just relax and guide the energies in, because I can feel the energy. But it's not hitting me out and waking me up out of my sleep, so I'm, all over the place and getting weird. And then it would pass. And so you see, and another friend of mine actually works a lot with DNA stuff. And when I told her about it, or whenever I'd get downloads and it would be really rough, what she would do is she would change the flow of the energies coming in so that they could spiral into my field, which is a lot more gentle on the system than coming right in. So if you ever feel like you're being bombarded by these energies and stuff, just ask your spirit team, like, hey guys, just like that. Guys, just like that. Yo, just like that. Whatever, they know you. Ask them if they can help these energies come in a little bit more comfortably for you, okay? And ask them to share with you some insight and tips on how to ensure that, you're handling these downloads as easily as you can for you, because what works for you is not going to work for other people. Another thing they're asking me to share with you, we're coming into downloads right now. I'm feeling it. I wonder if some of you are already going through it, but anyway, another thing they're saying is, or reminding me about, is that if you have religious programming, I know we always talk about this. Remember, religious programming, everybody has been religiously programmed. Everyone has been a prostitute. Everyone has been a slave. There's certain things everyone has murdered. Everyone has stolen. There are certain things everyone has done because we've been on this earth reincarnating for quite some time. So if you're sitting out there acting like you didn't do stuff, don't come see me because I will let you know. In a loving and gentle way, of course, because God bless, right? But the guides are saying, when it comes to religious programming, you may not know, you may be totally atheist in this lifetime, or Gnostic, or just whatever people are talking about these days. Who knows? These things are always changing, right? It's language and it's ideas. They're always changing. But in a past lifetime, you may have faced trauma due to religious persecution, or due to the limitations or the enforcement of certain belief systems on you. And so a big one that people struggle with is like this idea of sin and demons and this and that. And I know it's divided. Some people are like that they're real, and some people are like they aren't. And I think anything is real depending on the perspective, the level of perception that you're using. When you're way up in the 12th dimension and stuff, you're like, what are we talking about? Down here, we're just like everything because we're so dualistic. So the question should always be prefaced, from which perspective or which dimension of the field are you coming from when you're talking about the reality of something, right? But anyway, when these energies come in, if you have unresolved, is what they're saying, unresolved religious trauma in your field, you very well may experience these energies, which are your own energies from your higher self, your own soul, coming in. You may experience it as being demonic attacks on you, or this and that, or something's happening, something's crawling on me, I'm seeing it. But if you realize, if you understand more about this, it's just you. It'll just be like, oh, you're just getting a download. Don't worry. Let's see if we can help usher these in for you, right? And don't believe me, think about this. Some of you get very, very affected. You may not know it, or you may know. You get very, very affected around the water moons in particular, because those are really hitting those shadowy spots, especially those scorpionic moons. Like, they don't play. That's just hitting your emotions and kicking stuff up. and shadows are abound, you know, and so you're just swimming in your own stuff and you may not realize it. So that's why when we start learning to accept parts of ourselves and learn about parts of ourselves, and really, even if you're just like, I'm human, I made a mistake today, that's a far cry more healthier than saying, oh, how could I, what's wrong with me, God, I should, I hate when I do this, right? You're going to struggle there. And so when you show yourself self-love, what you're doing is literally dispelling the effects that these things have on you. Because guess what? If you're not afraid of people seeing you poo on the floor, then you've got nothing to fear. Go ahead and poo on the floor. Someone's like, yeah, you're like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I did. What about it? Let me just move it over to the grass. You're sleeping like a baby. But if, normally, like most of us would feel a little ashamed, right? That we pooed on the floor and, oh my God, everyone saw it. Like, hello, that's going to be hard for us. We can't sleep. We feel like we've lost everything in our life, right? So it really, at the end of the day, depends on you. Okay, now that being said, they're saying that during this moon, these energies coming in, I'm perceiving of your vessels in this collective as being prepared. It's almost like I'm in your torso all of a sudden, we see, and you're like this cute little square, and you're being prepared. And as I said that, and I felt stuff come up, my throat chakra was like, eh. So somebody here, as I said that, you have some work to do with your grandmother, is what I'm getting. There's a grandmotherly presence around you. Maybe you need to clear the air. Maybe there's something going on. The spirits, the guides are saying lapis lazuli will be good for you as a crystal to work with, okay? Because you got some throat chakra stuff going on. All right. And I do want to make a quick note. Sometimes we block our blessings because these energies that are coming in are blessings, right? We block our blessings because we shut down in fear. Because again, when these energies come up, they kick up our projections. Our projections are literally the meanings that we superimpose upon neutral energy, that being light. So A Course in Miracles teaches us that we're not actually seeing. If you're seeing things that you can distinguish as A and B and brown and pink, you're not seeing real at all, because the reality is that it's just all light. There's no form to it. But then you superimpose your past, your conditioning onto things, and so you perceive of things as being different and having different qualities. And that's why they also teach, A Course in Miracles also teaches that there's no such thing as special relationships. A special relationship basically means you have connections with certain people that you value more than others. And like I always say, your mom, you would value her more than, the male guy who just comes every now and then. But the truth is, you superimpose those forms because this whole life is your dream. It's your creation of your own thing. The guides are just joining us in our dreams to help us. But when you wake up, you wake out of this dream and you're like, oh yeah, there's no such thing as duality. We're all one. Okay, my bad. Well, it was for learning, right? I pretended to be other than what I was, and I believed it so much so that I saw all sorts of nightmares. Yeah, it's not a fun dream. You're having a nightmare. Anyway, look at how I split the deck. What does it say? Initiation. Here's the card again. Boom. All right. See, I know that I'm just not talking aimlessly, although sometimes I wonder. Spirit is saying they're about to multiply things in your life. You see how I just did that? Things are going to multiply in your life soon. Now, of course, some of you are like, oh, yeah, give me that bag. We hope that's the multiplication, right? Who knows? Who knows what it is? We're not asking, but that's even in the land of form. When we're talking about abundance and multiplication, we're talking about energy. And what form it takes is going to be dependent upon you. It could come in the form of creativity. It could be money. It could be clothing. It could be jobs, multiple jobs, whatever. A relationship. What Spirit is saying, look at my hand. It's like it's his hand. He's like a little warning. He's like, well, let me see what he said. Yeah, he's pointing. You must. What needs to go here? Like, you must complete this step first. There's a step first. The preparation. Remember, Buddha was a preparation, and then underneath was they're saying willingness. Thank you. The preparation that you're going through right now, the emptying of the self. Yeah, this is totally, this is back in the day. A lot of you guys are upgrading soon. Back in the day, emptying of the self, getting rid of the ego. They're saying getting rid of the jargon, all of this stuff. Thank you. At the end of the day, all it means is boiling back down to who you are. But we don't remember who we are sometimes, right? How can we remember if we're so bombarded with the next series we're watching? We're binge watching it. We're over caffeinating. We're talking to the same people every day, going through the same, minding other people's business, watching the news and tuning into things that, are not affecting you at all in this moment, but is definitely affecting you in your central nervous system. So you're tuning in to strife and distress on a daily basis, and that's what you're creating for yourself. The body doesn't know you're just watching the news, or that you're watching that horror movie, or you're just watching two squirrels fight and you want to help but you can't, right? It just gets distressed. And so anyway, when you clear all that and you work towards that, you step into purity. Let's pull a card for here. Oh, yes. They're like, why don't you use the deck you love? Yes. I have so many decks, guys, but this is my favorite deck so far. God bless it. Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. They this deck just lets me know. I don't know. So let's clarify this. You must take care of this. Once you do that, that's the indication of your willingness to work together, right? And then Spirit is going to send a test. Is this all happening in the next few days? Just kidding. No. It's probably been going on already, but remember, these are energies in the air, and this is what's being highlighted for you at this time. There's going to be some type of test. And I have to be honest. Look at my hands, 3. But then there's a 4th, right? So hear me out. I'm getting that not everyone is going to be admitted to whatever this is. I don't know what it is. I'm just a messenger. I don't have any idea about right or wrong, up, down, or if I like it or not. It's none of my business. I'm just repeating. There's something going on here that I'm like, for example, if 7 people are going through this, it could be more, obviously, because more of you watching. Maybe 8 of you. I don't know. Whatever. But I'm getting that, let's say, 3 of you would make it. Oh, let's see 4. Why would they even give me? It's almost like, because I'm seeing 4, it'd be like 4 of you would make it, right? Yeah, okay, thank you. 4 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this one, not this one. I don't know. But you see, the 4th one, whoever it is here, will be guided to something else. It feels like I don't want to say special ops. It feels like special ops a little bit, like, hey, you guys have all passed this test. You not beat out other people, because you're not competing with other people. It's just, are you able to vibe this high? And the only way you'll know is after you purify and you bring yourself to Spirit, and you ask and you call upon working with Spirit. Because you guys know, if you watch my channel, you know I work with people who have sacred service. That's it. So if you're like wondering why I'm always talking about that, because that's what it is, right? And so then Spirit will test you when you least expect it, is what I'm getting. Ugh, hate those. And they're showing again 7. Didn't they say something about 7 weeks or something? But anyway, I don't want to miss 7 weeks of tests, guys, please. I don't know, but there are going to be tests for you in particular, to test your merit, to test your readiness, to test your heart. Okay, so as I say, check out the virtues and watch for those vices. Don't know what the vices are? Just hit them up. Vices, 7 deadly sins, whatever you want to call them. Now, please take out the religious stuff again, because you guys know it's just boiling down to the bare bones. Check it out, and you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, like these are energies that permeate the things that hurt us on this planet, so I should probably pay attention. And I'm getting that only a few of you will make it to whatever this is, and maybe you'll be doing other stuff, right? Then there's 1. I'm saying 1, using this 7-person scale, but it could be a group, I don't know, where they're going to take you. I'm trying to read into this. What is this? Where are they taking you? It's special ops. And I just saw them, pull you into the door, and then the person who pulled you in, looked like her a little bit, turned around and like smiled and put her hand like shh over it and then closed the door. So it's none of ya business, or mine apparently. It's special ops. So it's something you'd be working on for spirit. So speaking of, let's look at this. So yeah, can you get over this? Can you clear this? So spirit is saying, what is it that they want you to really work through? They want you to work through. Here I am giving cheat sheets. This feels like a cheat sheet a little bit. Like I need to write this down too, because I don't know. But can you get over your interactions with others? No. Are you talking forgiveness? Maybe. So everyone jumped to their family members. Can I do it? Just kidding. No, but on a serious note, there are, can you get over the things that you the meanings that you made about these people and these things? Because remember, at any given time, these energies are just reflecting back to you harmonics you have in your field already. You may not connect with it in this lifetime because you're in this physical lifetime and you know yourself as Polly. But listen, you were Darth Vader in that other lifetime. And so if you have Darth Vader as a family member, then I'm just saying, you may not remember the shared energies there. But so Spirit is saying, can you own your projections? Can you own your stuff? Can you get clean? Can you clean up your heart? Can you clean up your space, your energetic space? And here's my cheat sheet, and I say this being fully like trying myself just to be a better person, whatever that means. Golden rule: see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Start learning and practicing your virtues. Watch for those vices, because they real. And own your projections. Set the intention for your heart to have healing. Always ask for healing. As I'm saying that, 40 minutes, 40 seconds on here, I'm seeing her, she's like getting closer. She's like, yes, about to write your name on here. So these are the things that get you to elevate yourself. And when you elevate yourself, guess what happens? You become eligible to take on different things. A company's not just going to hire you and make you a key holder in the company unless you demonstrate that you have, when it comes to fiduciary interests, you're solid gold, right? Because they don't want to give you power and then you abuse the people that you're supposed to be looking out for, their bank accounts and all of that, for example, right? So this is your time to show yourself and your hires and all this. And some of you may be like, I don't even care about, why do I care? But yeah, you still watching? Just kidding. No, I don't even care. But remember, on some level, you heard the call on some level to be of assistance. And here you are, to the point that you're rendezvousing here with this message. So what are we doing, right? So yes, we are looking at the moon transiting the sign of Taurus, but really what I like to do with these moon readings are look at the energy dynamics going on for the collectives and how these energies are influencing. And keep in mind that even when the moon changes into Gemini, these are cycles, these are energies that you're still going through, because that's just how energy is. Okay, I just see them closing this out now about this initiation stuff. So some of you may be wondering, well, can I still get an initiation? Can I still have an upgrade even if I don't join whatever that is or do other stuff? First of all, there's always work for everybody, but yes, you can. You see how 1, 2, look how they look similar. You can always get rid of any prison that you're in at any time. Spirit is saying, if you set that intention, see how she's like, yeah, we're always ready for you. You can always get a driver's license and we can put you behind this specialized driving license. We can put you behind this truck and stuff, but you have to show us you can pass the test first, right? The driving test for this specific vehicle. Boom. Ego. All right. Remember that we were talking about it? The guides took a lot of people out, when we talked about it back in November, December, when they were hitting hard with the compassion and needing to temper the self and all of this, and then they started talking about the virtues, and now they're introducing the vices. So they're just helping us along, all right, just helping us to do what we wanted to do on some level. All right, anyway, I'm just going to stop this now. Follow your heart, okay? Not the ego. And I love it because they're like, and we'll see you there. Look at this, like the founder's flame kind of energy. Beautiful. Anyway, guys, God bless you guys. If you'd like to work personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. God bless you. And if you would prefer to stay and just check out all the wonderful free stuff that we post for you, you are more than welcome. It is my pleasure. I literally derive joy. Look, right on top of the 10 of Cups. Emotional fulfillment. Bye. Love you. Bye.